Hello, my name is Dorin Bole and welcome back to my channel, Bole on Masaba. You're most welcome. It's been a while, but we've been cooking, we've been making sure that things are in proper case and the content is up to date. So thank you very much for subscribing. For those that haven't yet subscribed, please do. This is the only place where you'll find the only gishu in Uganda. Well, today we are going to talk about crisis management, crisis handling. How do we handle a crisis in all aspects of our lives, but mostly when you're handling communication of an organization, of a brand. Just to remind you, please subscribe. So first and foremost, we need to find out why we need to handle crises, because there are people who say silence is the best answer. Yeah, so especially with one-on-one relationships or cases where it's not a brand, it may be a product. So many people might argue that if you kept silent, it will pass. It usually does, but usually it also leaves some damages or consequences. So when you do crisis management, you're indirectly handling the type of consequences or the type of damages you will deal with after the crisis. So there are possibly like 3 or 4 reasons why we actually need to handle our crises a little bit more professionally. One is to shape the perception, to improve the perception of our brand or our product, our NGO, our brand generally. So you need to make sure that the perception that the people have about your brand or organization is maintained or improved. So if you handle a crisis so well, the perception even just helps you to become one of the favored brands or the NGOs that people believe in. So it's very important that you choose to handle all crises the same way. The other thing is if you have a reputation. You see, there are things which will pass, but reputation takes ages to build. And it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of consistency and persistence. So if a crisis comes and you don't handle it professionally or in a way that will not damage what you have taken so long building, then it's really very hurting for you to lose such a reputation. So for you to manage your reputation, if you have been known for a certain cause, then just manage the crisis and incline it towards your cause, and hopefully it works for you. The other thing is to just humanize and emphasize your brand identity. Many people like to relate to brands that care about them, or that they like to relate to organizations or persons that have a human or a humane kind of character to them. So in most cases, when you're managing a crisis, you actually want to make sure that they understand, the people that are affected or the people that this crisis is affecting, understand that you still care. You still want the best for them. You still have them in mind. So those are the main 3 reasons why you must manage all the crises. These are just a few steps how you can manage a crisis. There are some crises which are really too grave, really grave, and there are some that are minor. So it depends on the crisis you have and the magnitude of how many people, or the amount of impact it has on your brand, your products, your organization, your communication. So the very first thing you do when you're going to handle any type of crisis, it doesn't matter if it is a personal one-on-one kind of crisis or a group organizational type of crisis, the first thing you always do is gather all the necessary information about that sort of crisis, why it burst in the first place, what happened prior to, who was involved, what exactly went about this case, what happened. Just try to find out, do an investigation. In short, just gather all the information you need. because that information will help you to do the next step. It applies in all crises, really. Gather all the information you need to help you tackle that issue. The second one is plan. Do a plan. And crises are kind of emergencies. So you must have these steps at the back of your mind, in that every time you just want to do them, it's kind of easier and faster for you to handle them, whatever the case. So you make sure that when you start to just go through the process of handling your crisis, it's fast, it's on your kuntori, like as fast as that. So the second one, like I said, is plan. Plan the strategy of how you're going to actually handle this crisis. Is it going to be, for organization, is it going to be a press release? Is it going to be a compensation? Is it going to be an apology? Plan on how you're going to handle this crisis, and that will help you just shape what you really want out of your crisis. So if it needs an apology, you will find out maybe, according to the information you gathered, which people are affected, how much has it affected them, do they need a compensation? For cases where there is death involved, compensation is necessary, but also an apology, kind of feeling like they are with you or you're with them during this hard or type of crisis that they're going through. So plan a way, get a strategy in which you're going to handle this crisis, but do it fast. The third is communication. Just find out, after you have gathered the information, who it has affected, how much it has affected them. You know how you're going to actually handle the crisis because you've planned very well. Now you must find out which communication channel or vehicle or media you are going to use to make sure that you communicate your crisis perfectly and it's effective. It gives you the best results as you had sought. Yes. So you need to know, what am I going to use to communicate this? Do I go to our social media official channels? Do I go to Twitter? Do I just break it on Twitter? Do I have to do a live to just explain what happened? Do I have to go in person one-on-one and apologize, or just be with the people that have been affected, or just, find out, just find a way you're going to communicate this and let it be the most effective way to reach the people that were affected most. It's a crisis, it must be handled as a crisis. Yes, so the last thing is, after you have done all that, and you're sure you have somehow made sure that your brand is still maintained, the opinion and attitude towards it is not very negative, people are sorry or have empathy with you. It's nice when you do crisis management and people now start to feel sorry for you. They start to have empathy towards your brand or towards your organization, towards what you're doing, towards your product. That usually works a good card for you. But after you've done all that, you have to go back down and sit and find out, evaluate the plan, evaluate the crisis management. Has it worked in your favor? Has it worked to get the results that you intended out to get? Is the perception among people perfect? Still, there are crises which hit you, and when you're going like this, and then but then after the crisis management, is it going up again, or is it just, that's the evaluation phase. Just find out what exactly you did. Was it effective? Was it ineffective? Just find out. So that's the last step. With those 4, you can handle any crisis. That said, there are some crises that you will have to keep quiet and let them pass. But for you to find out which crisis needs to be let to pass, or which crisis you need to handle, will depend on how you evaluate and what brand you're handling. Because some, you just have to let them slide off. But if a crisis involves people or animals or lives, please handle it. That's me. Thank you very much for coming to my channel one more time. I am so grateful. Thank you for showing up and loving this. Please don't forget and also leave a comment down below just for me to find out how you actually have handled your crises before, or if this was helpful. Thank you very much and have a blessed day.